Hey, Chip, appreciate you joining me today.
How do you do so, Len?
So I know you're excited. Teams put a lot of work into this indirect and digital access white paper. Let me just start off with, what's the purpose? What are you trying to achieve with the team?
Well, I think what we're trying to do is a couple of things. One is to give some context as it relates to SAP's business practice in this area, some of the history, but also provide some details to customers who are kind of in that mode of looking at indirect and digital access, whether they're thinking of it on their own, whether they've had SAP approach them, to really inform them as it relates to the models that are available to them, but also get them to be a little more proactive in their thinking about how to address it before it lands at their doorstep.
Yeah. I think you talk about the historical context a little bit. I think that leads into why you and the team decided to do this.
Back in 2010, SAP introduced the concept of indirect access, and they really did it in the context of them saying, "Hey, look, we've always made ourselves easy to integrate with, but we believe that there's some issues there as it relates to how our customers are using their software. There's some value that we need to capture. There's some licensing elements that we believe we need to address." And it's kind of morphed from 2010 until like 2017. They were starting to get some litigation rolling where they were finding the courts that were reacting positively to their positions on that. And then in 2018, they announced the concept of digital access.
Mm-hmm.
And so and it's more from there, and just really what we've been able to do, and Upper Edge has been along the way pretty much for that entire journey since 2010. And so not only have we seen how SAP has morphed their posture as it relates to what that licensing practice looks like, we've been able to move along with that with our customers and been through those experiences with them to provide a really holistic view and be able to inform clients today as it relates to not only indirect access, but digital access.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to ask you is like, why is this still an important issue? It's been going on for a long time, but just why is it still critical? Why are we investing time into it? Why is it still an issue for our clients?
Well, I think it's twofold. One is that SAP has changed the licensing model, like I talked about. They've moved from moved from indirect access into digital access. And their plan is to absolutely migrate their installed customer base and their new customer base to digital access. They put together some plans, some migration plans, but they've also introduced that with net new customers. And why it's important is because they are making some very specific decisions as it relates to how they approach their customers. They do it on a opportunistic basis. It's not consistent. And that lack of transparency and predictability creates some uncertainty with their customers, and in fact creates different financial impacts to their customers going forward.
Yeah. So I mean, measurement of what I hear you saying is both of those models. Folks that are under indirect access today, they need to measure, the pros and cons and the changes of the business practices impact on them. Who's the right audience for the white paper? I mean, a lot of energy and effort's been put into the white paper, right? I mean, 10 years of experience have gone into this white paper. Yeah. All different client engagements have gone into this white paper, but who's the right audience?
I think it's going to be people who are at the senior levels, whether you're at the business or even within the CIO's office. And the reason why it's important is at that level, because people are making roadmap decisions on these business-facing applications that have direct impact on these digital access matters. And I'll give you an example. You might have someone who's the leader of HR, right? And they may be making decisions around their go-forward platforms for HR, that if they choose a competing platform, if they choose Workday over SuccessFactors, that absolutely has an impact on digital access or indirect access as it relates to their overall relationship with SAP. So really, those folks who have a voice and who are shaping the platform of their entire applications set going forward need to be aware of those decisions and how they impact their cost structure with SAP.
Yeah. The final question I have is when do clients need to start paying attention to the issue, right? I mean, where in the journey do they need to start, paying close attention, to this particular issue?
Yeah, I don't want to over dramatize this, but it really is, a while ago, years ago, if they decided to move forward with SAP, they have these competing platforms. And the reason is threefold. One is, again, as I talked about, SAP is inconsistent and opportunistic as it relates to how they come after customers on this. The second piece is that it's not a question of if, but it's a question of when everybody's going to end up on digital access, right? They've introduced this digital access migration plan that they put in. They slid out to the end of this year, so they provided a platform and a process by which folks can move to indirect to digital access. And the third reason is that they need to look at this now is because the cost can be astronomical to their business if they don't have an understanding of what it is before SAP comes knocking at their door with an audit. Because we have direct experience where you have an indirect access cost and a digital access cost, and a lot of times there's huge disparity between those costs, and digital access costs may not even be scalable to their future point of view as it relates to their overall application direction and where they want to take their business.
Yeah, no, I think it's critical. Anyone who's approaching an inflection point, hasn't been audited in a while, and just looking in the context of assessing the overall health status of their relationship, needs to pay attention to the issue. There's no question about it. I want to commend you and the team for the work you did. I think this is the only white paper that's out there that looks literally at the 10-year history, 12-year history of what SAP's done here. And it's really hard to follow, that history. And this paper absolutely takes clients through, the entire history, and then they can, subsequently put that into context of how their relationship over time has grown with SAP and where it's going into the future. So, thank you again for the effort that you and the team have put into it. And I know that this is going to be extremely valuable to our clients. So thanks a lot for that, Chip.
Yep, thanks, Len.